Okay guys, in our last video we touched on some of the budget options as well as beginner options for armor and gear sets in Escape from Tarkov. Now in this video we're going to focus on the weapon types that are very good at this point in the wipe. A little bit later into the wipe, so we need something that's going to be able to pack a punch for relatively cheap and is going to be able to get those player kills. I think the biggest one to start off with, in my opinion, for cost effectiveness, is the Mosin and the Mosin and its variants. You can get it with you can get the Mosin carbine, which I have here, which is you can put a scope on it, you can mod it a little bit. Really with a Mosin, you don't even really need a scope on the majority of them. Like if you're running like a Mosin infantry that doesn't take the scope variant, you just iron sight it, aim center mass, and more often than not you're going to kill whatever you point it at. It's a sniper rifle round or a hunting cartridge round. It's a 7.62 by 54. If you're looking through here at the list and you recognize some of these, you notice already that they're relatively higher caliber than most of your assault rifles, just because the relatively cost effective for being able to take down an armored target or an unarmored target at the same equal rounds. With one thing to keep in mind when you're touching on weapons in Escape from Tarkov, and this is something someone told me when I was starting out that helped tremendously with how I approached weaponry in this game, is the bullet coming out of the gun is 100 times more important than the gun shooting the bullet. If you're running like a really best in slot weapon but you're running trash ammo, it's not going to feel very good to use. But you can run some janky, picked it up right off a scav and put good ammo in it, and you're going to be able to shred players, especially at this point in the wipe with people running level 4, level 5, level 6 armor. With the Mosin, with that in mind, the Mosin is a hunting cartridge round, pretty big caliber. Pretty much whatever you throw in there is going to be pretty good. The LPS GZH is relatively cheap. It's got pretty high flesh damage, so you're going to be able to one-tap most players in the chest, especially if you penetrate the armor. That is the thorax area. You'll black out stomachs and they'll survive, that kind of stuff. Or if you hit an arm first before it hits the chest, there's a likelihood they survive. But direct impact in the back, pretty high up, or in the chest without an arm taking the initial brunt of the damage, you're going to one-shot that character. Any of the Mosins, same thing. It doesn't really depend. It doesn't really matter on which Mosin variant you use. They all use the same caliber and the same rounds. So we got with the Mosin out of the way. Now the Vepr Hunter Vpo 101 is a step down from the 7.62 by 54 cartridge. It's a 7.62 by 51. This gun pretty easily found off of scavs or scav players. Same way with the Mosin and its variants. As we go through the list, most of these will be found off scavs, because when it comes to weaponry in this game, this is a tangent, but when it comes to weaponry in this game, especially trying to be cost effective, I wanted to take the approach of a new player probably mostly taking pistols into raids. What guns can they get off of scavs that's going to be able to pack a punch against players? So all of these weapons on this list you can pick off of a scav eventually. But to get back onto the Vepr Hunter, it 7.62 by 51 cartridge. My ammo of choice is the M80, and the thing about this gun is it is so great stock that arguably you don't need a sight. Right there, you maybe get some 10-round mags instead of the 5s, but yeah, right there you can take that in and kill a player with it relatively easily. Semi-automatic, not bolt action like the Mosin, so you can get multiple shots on target. Better yet, pay 12K for a sight off flea market, and you have, for a 12K investment, staying on 5-round mags, and maybe, well, obviously if you have the ammo, it's a 12K investment for just the sight. But if you are buying the ammo, the M80 is relatively cheap compared to the other rounds like M61 or M62, and it's arguably one of the better rounds. Sheer cost effectiveness on the Hunter, it completely slaps, to the point where I'm at times, you know, you're full geared and you're pretty juiced, and you hear Vepr Hunters popping off in the direction you're going, you take it cautiously. Even if you're, you know, in the best gear, you take it cautiously. A Vepr Hunter can run your day. Really, you don't have to do much to this gun at all. Throw a sight on it. It can take a sniper sight as well, like the PSO, and you can really put a hurting on some people. The next one on the list that I want to talk about that is a little unorthodox, a lot of people be sleeping on the shotguns, is the MP153. Now the MP153 is semi-automatic. I have this one modded out with an 8 round tube, so an 8-round magazine, pretty much. There's a little bit of a debate on round types for shotguns. I personally like the AP20 slugs, which are a little bit more expensive than some of these other rounds on the flea market, but man, do they pack a punch, and they have surprisingly good range. You're going to one shot in the chest, unarmored targets. Level 3 armor, you're gonna be able to put down pretty efficiently. Even up to level 4 armor, which is what we have on here, you're gonna be able to take them out decently as well. And this is at range with a shotgun. And the cost point is relatively next to nothing. You put a sight of your choice on it. You don't even really need the flashlight or the bigger magazine. You can run the gun predominantly stock with the right ammo and really put a hurting on some people. This is very easily found on scavs. Pretty much if a scav's running a shotgun, more often than not, it is this shotgun. Granted, you're going to have it in different states, whether it's going to have a pistol grip or it's going to have the full stock, and that's entirely up to you guys if you want to mod it to be similar to this one or not. I will have the spreadsheet that was in the previous video. That'll be in the description as well. That's got all of these builds, so that you don't have to pause this video and check these. That's all in the spreadsheet below. And the names are fully written out. There's screenshots of this screen here. The names are fully written out to exactly how you would enter them into the flea market to look up these mods. So my biggest thing about putting the spreadsheet together was a lot of the modding spreadsheets kind of rely on you kind of knowing the names, or what, if you could, to be able to look at it, one of these little small windows, and tell what it is. So I went through and made it very user friendly, and you'll be able to just scroll down, find this MP153 shotgun, type in what you want to put on it, and into the flea market, all directly from the spreadsheet. But yeah, this gun slaps. It's great for clearing hallways if you're trying to do dorms quests. Semi-automatic, as fast as you can click the mouse, you're putting rounds down range. AP20 is going to put a hurting on people. The other round that a lot of people enjoy that is going to cut your range down significantly from the AP20 is the Fletchetti. Now this is going to give you a lot more spread. It's not a slug round, so you're going to be looking at probably 20-25 meters will be your max engagement, but this stuff shreds armor. It's effective through level 4. I think it's effective up to level 5. And even if the thing with this Fletchetti is that not only is it going to be shredding the armor, it's going to have mild chance to pierce, but it's also going to be hitting arms and legs as well. So you're going to be completely obliterating whatever you pointed out. The only caveat as to why I like the AP20s better, in my opinion, is just that little bit of extra reach. Shotgun's going to put you at a disadvantage already because it's not going to have the same fire rate as like an SKS, a Vepr Hunter, or but it at least gives you a little bit extra variability on the ranges you can take your fights. But don't be sleeping on the shotguns. I really do enjoy it. I still run it a fair amount now. Now the next point of contention, or I guess like the next little bit of confusing bit here, is there's two variants for the SKS, similar to how there's multiple variants of Mosins. I'm pretty sure we've all been there where we buy a Mosin infantry and we can't put a sight on it. Now with the SKS, both variants do technically take a sight. Now the OP SKS, as you can see here, has the dovetail mount. And what this means is that you can put a sight directly over the receiver. Like, I'm pretty sure it'll take this OKP. Yeah, so you could take a sight, put it directly over the receiver. And now this will also take like PSO sniper scopes and things of that variation as well. That's really all you got to throw on this thing. You could put a 20 rounder mag in it if you really wanted to. 10 round and top loading's perfectly fine depending on what kind of playstyle you're going for. If you're clearing out dorms or stuff of that nature, you're having to do a lot of room checks, and you don't have, if you're going to be in a situation where like reloading would put you on a time crunch, I do suggest taking the 20 round mags instead of the 10 round internals. And what that means is a 20 round mag is you can pull it out, reload it, put a new one in. 10 rounders, you can't do that. It's all top loaded like it would be a Mosin. The OPSKS, like I showed, takes this sight further back. Now the regular SKS, the non-hunting rifle variant, this is, you can get from level 1 Prapper for 19,000 rubles. Both of these you could arguably use iron-sighted, but I do highly suggest using this one either, if you're going full budget, I would use this one iron sights. I know that's a little bit scary for some of the new players that haven't really figured out how the gun mechanics of the game yet, or aren't really comfortable using how realistic the iron sights look in this game. But if you had this SKS and you were wanting to put a sight on it, there is a way to do it. So what you can do to put a sight on this is to purchase one of these UTG SKS SOCOM rail mounts. Well, that's a mouthful. But essentially, this gives you the option of not only putting a sight on this gun. I prefer the PK06, so we'll just put that on there. So you can not only put sights on here, but you can also put lasers and stuff of that nature if you need to. I don't personally run lasers on the SKSs, just for the fact that you're not going to be in a lot of situations where you're having to point fire this thing if you're playing with a more ranged approach playstyle. But you know, if you are wanting to get in there and get into the thick of it with it, very possible to do. Just throw a laser on it, it'll increase your accuracy for your point fires, give you a point of reference for where the middle of your screen is, or where your gun's pointing per se, and you know, lay down some hurt. But the only issue with doing the SOCOM rail mount and putting a sight on this SKS variant is it does push your sight further up the gun, which with the other OPS KS variant, which I showed earlier, the dovetail mount is about back here in this area, and the sight is going to be directly over your receiver. So that's going to make your sight a little bit smaller, in the sense of like being further up, it's going to be, your sight's a little bit further away from you, so it's going to be a little bit smaller. In this situation, I probably wouldn't run the PK06 just because it's already a very small sight. I would probably run something like one of these EOTechs, or even this Valde 1P87. The thing with sights in this game though, and this is something to keep in mind, is it's all pretty much preference. The positive negative effects from each sight, very negligible. So run whatever you would want in that situation. Personally, if I was starting off in the white, I would use this SKS iron sighted until I found one of these variants off of Scav. Both of these are readily available. Ammo options for both of these guns, both of the SKSs, they are 7.62 by 39. A little bit, we're periodically stepping down on the rifle rounds. BP, It's going to be the best that you can get for that ammo type. It's going to completely punch through armor like it's not even there. It's relatively cheap off the flea market. You're going to find it periodically throughout the map, just unloading guns that you get. It's going to be a fair amount there. PS ammo you can use in a pinch. This you can buy directly from the vendor. It's not a bad round by any means. The difference between a BP and a PS round on like a level 4 armored target is it's probably gonna be like one extra round that you got to hit. I know that's a little bit scary in a 10 round internal mag, but you could always, on both of these, you could always pull them out, pull out the internals, put in 20 rounder, and be able to just reload 20 rounds at a time. PS ammo, not bad by any means, especially for SKS's, or the next gun that we're moving to now, which is the Vepr Km Vpo 136. Now, this is the AK variant of the Vepr. It's a 7.62 by 39. There is another Vepr KM that looks like an AK, but that is chambered in 366. That one's pretty much trash. I wouldn't touch that one if I had to. I would probably swap that out for the first scab I killed, even if it was running like a Keter or something. But with this one right here, as you can see, it's a little bit fancier. It's a little bit modded. These last couple ones here, like this and this AK-74, pretty much they're aimed at your survivability is pushed up a little bit. You're surviving your raids pretty fine. You want to start tricking out your guns a little bit, because I mean that's part of the game. It's fun to build something and see how you can change the looks or how a gun works. Now with this gun here, it's a very, very fun rifle to use. My entire stash value of 104, 105 mil was built off of this gun. You can pretty much every scab has it. It feels like you can run BP PS rounds, 30 round magazines, 50 round magazines. Like I still use this gun a fair amount. I don't run this variant because this variant is tailored more towards the cheap side of things. It's not best in slot by any means. These mods I think the mods themselves come out to around like 76,000 rubles. A little bit more expensive to throw into like one piece of gear, considering the entire armor set here that we're wearing comes out to be like 110, 112k. So you're looking at almost doubling for one specific gun. But you know, it comes down to kind of what you're wanting to get out of the game. The Vepr 7.62, it's not full automatic, even though it is an AK looking gun. It is single fire only. It's essentially an SKS that takes 30. It'll take 30 and 50 round magazines and give you a different look. I personally really enjoy the gun. Some people hate it. I would say that if you're wanting to try it out and just see if it's for you, don't go through the hassle of modding one like this. I'd probably just straight up purchase one off of flea market, or obviously just pick one up off of Scab. They have them all the time. I don't think I've ever purchased one of these guns until I made this video, and I didn't feel like running a raid to go grab one off of Scab. And to give you like some ideas of what you can really do with one, so this is what you can really turn one into. 66 vertical recoil, 50 round mag, 1.6 Valde sight. This puts a hurting on people. But if you're watching this video, you're looking for budget options, you don't want to see me flex. With ammo types for that Vepr Km Vpo 136, PS rounds, BP rounds, either are fine. Excuse me. Either are fine. It just kind of depends on where your budget's at or what you have available to you. Like if you got it, run it. If you don't, then probably pick the cheapest option. Now the last gun that we're going to look on the list is something that's going to rely on ammo types, on the variant of the ammo, a little bit more than what we've talked about previously. Now this is the AK-74. This is the M variant. There's a bunch of different bunch of different AK-74s. It's all dependent on the letter at the end. They're all pretty much the same. All of these attachments will work on all the AK-74s. So if you're watching this video and you've picked up an AK-74 in off of a scab and you're wanting to build it like this, it'll take all of these attachments. This gun probably is the natural progression of running more budget single fire setups to a more full auto assault rifle approach to the game. AKs are relatively cheap to build compared to the M4s or the HKs or the TXs or the real expensive NATO round type of weaponry. You can build this gun for about 55-60k, and it's got 58 vertical recoil. It's probably not the cheapest way to get the best recoil in the game, but it's what I found works for me and what's readily available, and also pretty easy to find in raid. Like, I find these RKOs and these EKPs all the time in raid, and just grab them, pull them out, use them in a build. To give you some context here of what to kind of expect out of a best in slot AK would be similar to this right here. 49 vertical recoil, 128 horizontal, 61 erg. This gun right here is probably going to be about 150, 160k in just mods, not including the purchase of the gun itself. This one, 58 vertical, 164, 58 ergo. So close, kind of. I mean, it's not going to be like a huge difference, especially as you level and get your recoil control up. But this is a third of the cost. So really, if you're looking to get into the more mainstream, more meta type of weaponry, I do highly suggest the AKs over the M4s, especially for starting out, mainly because it comes down to ammo types. And this is why there's not an ADAR. I know some people watching this that are seasoned Tarkov players are like, where's the ADAR at? Well, at this point in the wipe, and that's what this video is really tailored to, is ammo has become very expensive. 995, which is the best 5.56 ammo, is somewhere around 1,200 rubles per bullet. Compared to like BT rounds, it's literally all over the place. It's like finding grass on the ground. This is all over Tarkov right now. It's not best in slot by any means for 5.45 AKs, but it is very good. It's going to shred level 4 armor. You're going to be a little bit disadvantaged at level 5 or level 6, but that's when it comes down to kind of aiming for the head. BT 1-2 shots on most helmets are gonna give you the win there. So obviously you can always switch this out for better. BT rounds are usually what I go with if I'm kind of mag dumping, in the sense, because it's relatively cheap, it's very effective for the cost, and that's what the video is all about. Is none of this is going to be best in slot, or you know what you're going to be running when you're at like the 500-600 hour mark. This is what you're running to get there, right? This is what you're going to be using to build your economy up to where you can really purchase those real great builds that you see all your favorite streamers running. But yeah, that's my take on budget weapon options in Tarkov patch point 12 at this point in the wipe. I hope you guys found something that is useful for you. If it's information entertainment wise, I stream pretty regularly on Twitch at twitch.tv/sk00tn scootin'. We do a lot of viewer runs, Sherpa runs, helps with quests. We've created a pretty good community over there, and I hope you guys want to take part in that. If not, that's cool too. I hope that at least you got something out of the video. Like I said before earlier, the spreadsheet is below in the description with both the budget armor options from the first video as well as the budget weapon options. Also, all of those mods on all of these weapons, especially the SKSs that aren't modded in the video itself, all your mod options, budget consciously, are included in the spreadsheet. Full name included. You can just type it directly into your flea market search bar. It'll pop up. There you go. You're not gonna have to interpret what these little pictures mean and shit when it comes to flea market. But thank you guys for tuning in. Feel free to like and subscribe if that's what you're into. And yeah, happy hunting.